You should now have a pretty good idea of how ASP.NET works on a single page. You know how to change the properties of elements on the page and capture the data that the user has entered. Although you learned how to create HTML hyperlinks in Lesson 2.7, it is also possible to move between pages using C# code. To begin this lesson, open the C# test sample file from your Sample Files folder. And open the code behind file of movepage1.aspx. Now you're going to add some code that will move the user to movepage2.aspx using the page.response.redirect method. You learned about the page.response object in Lesson 3.7. By using its redirect method, you can send the browser to a different page. Add the following code to the button move click event handler. Page.response.redirect movepage2.aspx. Now view movepage1.aspx in your browser. And click the button. Notice that the web browser's address bar shows that you are now on movepage2.aspx. When you move between pages using response.redirect, ASP.NET sends a response to the web server with the special code number 302. The 302 code tells the web browser that the page it is looking for has temporarily moved to the location that you specified. When the web browser sees the 302 code and the new location, it automatically sends a new request to the new location, effectively redirecting the user. The page.response.redirect method is the most often used method of moving between pages in C# code. When you use response.redirect, the new page is loaded exactly as if the user had clicked on a link or typed the address into their address bar. The page they are taken to has no ties to the page they came from. This can be an advantage or a disadvantage, depending on what you are trying to do. One disadvantage of using response.redirect, or any method of transferring between pages in C#, is that you cannot open the new page in a new window. Links that open in new windows can only be made with HTML and JavaScript. Next, you're going to move between pages using the page.server.transfer method. You haven't used the server object up until this point. The server object contains methods that tell the web server to carry out certain operations. For now, you're only interested in its transfer method. Close your web browser now, and return to the code behind file of movepage1.aspx. Now remove all code from the button move click event handler and replace it with page.server.transfer movepage2.aspx. Now view movepage1.aspx in your browser again and click the button. Once again, you are redirected to movepage2.aspx. But look at the address bar. the browser still thinks that you're on movepage1.aspx. This is the major difference with server.transfer. Server.transfer switches to the new page internally, but doesn't tell the web browser. From the perspective of the person viewing your site, they haven't changed pages at all. Using server.transfer also keeps a reference to the previous page, as you'll see in Lesson 3.11. Page.server.transfer is useful if you don't want site visitors to know that they are changing pages. You might want to do this if you have a multi-step process split into several pages. In Lesson 3.11, you'll also see that server.transfer can be used to pass data between pages. The disadvantage of server.transfer is that without knowing the address of the actual page they are on, your visitors won't be able to bookmark the page. As with response.redirect, you can't use server.transfer to open a new window. ASP.NET contains a very similar method to server.transfer called server.transferRequest. If you try server.transferRequest, it will seem to work in exactly the same way as server.transfer. The difference is in how ASP.NET is working in the background. With server.transfer, ASP.NET doesn't create a completely new request, which means it doesn't recheck things like authentication. You'll learn more about authentication in Session 9. Transfer request creates an entirely new request for the page. Although this is more complete and secure, it is also slower. Close your web browser now, and close Visual Studio. You've now completed Lesson 3.10. Move between pages using C#.